It's 2 a.m. You're exhausted. Your body's begging for sleep. But your brain? Your brain just remembered that thing you said 3 years ago that probably no one else even remembers. Or maybe you're lying there imagining yourself rich, driving that car you can't afford, living in that luxury apartment. Or you're replaying every conversation you had with that girl, analyzing what she meant, creating scenarios where you're finally together. Or you're picturing yourself as someone important, walking into some huge event where everyone knows your name. And now you're wide awake, thinking about literally everything except sleep. Your future, your bank account, that person you can't stop thinking about, whether your life is on track, why you're like this. And the more you try to stop thinking, the louder it gets. Sound familiar? Yeah, let's talk about why your brain becomes a philosophy professor the second your head hits the pillow. But before we get into it, if you're vibing with this, hit subscribe on Mura Psychology. We're breaking down the psychology that makes you who you are. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain has been running all day. Meetings, conversations, tasks, distractions, and the second you lie down and everything goes quiet, all that stuff you've been pushing aside comes flooding back. Because during the day, you're too busy to process anything. But at night? Night is when your brain decides it's time for a full system review. Every embarrassing moment, every unfinished task, every worry you've been ignoring, it all shows up at once like some kind of emotional invoice you forgot to pay. And look, this isn't random. When you're awake and active, your brain is in doing mode. It's reactive. It's handling whatever's in front of you. But when you lie down, it switches to processing mode. It's trying to make sense of your day, organize your thoughts, figure out what needs attention. Except it's terrible at prioritizing. So it treats your cringy comment from 2019 with the same urgency as whether you remembered to lock the door. Everything feels equally important. Nothing can wait until morning, and you're just lying there like a hostage to your own mind. Think about it. How many times have you solved an actual problem by lying in bed overthinking it? Probably never. You just make yourself miserable, lose sleep, and wake up tired with the same problems still sitting there. But your brain doesn't care. It thinks it's being productive. It thinks if it just runs through every scenario one more time, you'll finally have clarity. Spoiler, you won't. You'll just have insomnia. The first thing happening is your brain is using nighttime as emotional dumping time. All the feelings you avoided during the day, the stress, the anxiety, the guilt, the frustration, they've been sitting there waiting. And the second you're alone with your thoughts, they demand attention. You didn't want to deal with that awkward conversation earlier, so you pushed it down. But now it's back. And it brought receipts. Your brain is basically forcing you to confront everything you've been running from, except you're too tired to actually process it, so you just spiral instead. And here's the thing. This isn't some deep philosophical reflection. It's your brain being inefficient, because real emotional processing happens when you're rested, when you have energy, when you can actually think clearly. Lying in bed at 3 a.m. running through worst-case scenarios isn't processing. It's just torture. But your brain doesn't know the difference. It thinks any thinking is productive thinking. It's not. The second thing is, your brain hates uncertainty, and bedtime is full of it. You don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know if you're making the right choices. You don't know if people like you, if your job is secure, if you're doing enough. And instead of just accepting that uncertainty, your brain tries to solve it. It replays conversations looking for hidden meanings. It plans for problems that don't exist yet. It creates elaborate what-if scenarios and then stresses about them, all because it's desperately trying to eliminate the discomfort of not knowing. But here's the brutal truth. You can't think your way into certainty. Life is uncertain. People are unpredictable. The future is unknowable. And lying in bed overthinking doesn't change that. It just makes you anxious about things you can't control. Your brain is basically having an argument with reality, and reality always wins. But your brain keeps trying anyway, because the alternative, accepting uncertainty, feels worse than the exhausting mental gymnastics. The third thing is, you're probably avoiding something bigger. A lot of nighttime overthinking isn't actually about the stuff you're thinking about. It's a distraction. You're lying there fantasizing about being rich, about having everything figured out, about finally getting that girl to notice you, about being someone important at some massive event. Or you're stressing about work, relationships, money, all these surface-level things. But underneath, there's something scarier you're not looking at. Maybe it's that you're unhappy with where you actually are right now. Maybe it's that you're lonely, and imagining scenarios is easier than putting yourself out there. Maybe it's that you feel stuck, and those fantasies are the only place you feel in control. So your brain keeps you busy with daydreams and worries to avoid the big big one, because the big one requires actual action, getting better with money, actually talking to that person, actually working toward being someone. And action is scary, so you just think in circles instead. And honestly, most people never realize they're doing this. They think they're just fantasizing about success or replaying moments with someone they like. But if you stripped away all those dreams about being rich, about that girl finally being yours, about walking into that event like you own the place, what would be left? What's the thing you're really afraid of? That you're not enough right now, that you're behind, that maybe those things will never happen. That's usually what your brain is protecting you from by keeping you distracted with fantasies and overthinking. It's like your mind is running interference on itself, creating these elaborate scenarios so you don't have to face the uncomfortable reality, and you're too tired to see through it. The fourth thing is your nervous system is jacked up. If you've been stressed all day, your body is still in that state when you lie down. Your heart rate is elevated, your cortisol is high, your system is primed for action, and then you're asking it to just shut down and sleep? That's not how it works. Your body needs time to transition from alert mode to rest mode, but most people go straight from chaos to bed and wonder why they can't turn their brain off. It's because your system is still running hot, and a racing mind is just a symptom of a nervous system that hasn't been told it's safe to relax yet. This is why people who overthink at night often have terrible sleep routines. They work late, scroll on their phone, watch intense shows, and then expect to fall asleep immediately. But their body is still activated, still processing stimulation, still on high alert, and overthinking is just your brain's way of staying engaged because it doesn't know how to downshift. You haven't given it permission to rest, so it keeps working, and you're the one who suffers. The fifth thing is you've trained your brain that bedtime equals thinking time. Every night you lie down and start the mental marathon. So now your brain has learned, oh, this is when we process everything. This is when we worry. This is when we replay every mistake. It's become a habit, and habits are hard to break. Your brain literally expects to overthink at night because that's what it's been doing for months or years. It's autopilot now, and breaking autopilot takes effort. But here's what nobody tells you. You're not going to think your way out of this. You have to interrupt the pattern, and that means changing what you do before bed. If you keep lying down and immediately diving into your thoughts, nothing will change. You have to create a buffer, something that tells your brain, we're not doing this tonight. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's journaling before bed so the thoughts are already out. Maybe it's meditation or breathing exercises. Whatever it is, you need a new pattern because the old one isn't working, and hoping it'll magically fix itself is just more overthinking. So what do you actually do? First, stop going to bed wired. Give yourself at least 30 minutes to wind down before you even think about sleep. No screens, no stress, just something calm that signals to your body it's okay to relax. Second, write your thoughts down before bed. Get them out of your head and onto paper. Your brain will stop obsessing over them if it knows they're captured somewhere. Third, when you catch yourself spiraling, call it out. That's just my brain doing its nighttime thing. It's not urgent, it can wait until morning. And most of the time, by morning, it doesn't even matter anymore. And look, if your nighttime overthinking is destroying your sleep and your life, that's not just a quirk. That's your body telling you something needs to change. Maybe it's your stress levels. Maybe it's unresolved stuff you're avoiding. Maybe it's that you need actual support to work through what's going on. But ignoring it and just accepting that you're someone who doesn't sleep well, that's not the answer, because sleep affects everything: your mood, your health, your ability to function, and sacrificing that because your brain won't shut up isn't sustainable. The next time you're lying there at 2 a.m. replaying some random conversation, ask yourself, is this actually important right now, or is my brain just doing what it always does? Because most of the time, it's the latter, and once you see the pattern, you can start breaking it. You're not broken. Your brain is just stuck in a loop, and loops can be interrupted. You just have to be willing to do something different instead of hoping it'll change on its own. If this hit way too close to home, you're not alone. A lot of people deal with this, and if you want more content like this, subscribe to Mura Psychology. We're talking about the stuff that actually matters, the psychology behind why you do what you do. Remember,
Remember, thinking too much before sleep isn't productivity, it's avoidance. Avoidance of rest, avoidance of letting go, avoidance of accepting that you can't control everything by just thinking about it. Your brain needs to learn that nighttime is for sleep, not for solving your entire life. And that starts with you setting the boundary and sticking to it.